I'm sure this episode would hit harder if I had the ability to take any of these characters seriously. Noe is the newest episode of Miraculous. I did not realize it would be someone's name. I'm pronouncing it like that because clearly there is a trend. Now, let's get it all out of the way. How many children is this woman gonna pull out of her ass? Literally. Andre, your wife isn't for the streets, she's for the whole planet. Audrey is basically cartoon Big Mom. She hates children but keeps having them and they wind up growing up with behavioral issues. Actually, I think Big Mom loves her children more, and I'm pretty sure she's killed at least one of them. Do not expect me to believe this woman doesn't have an abortion doctor on speed dial. The writers opening Audrey's legs when they need a new blonde antagonist in season 9. Get ready to see Hoey. Oh wait, no, Audrey took that name. I'm gonna be completely honest guys, I genuinely want to make the whole video just me making fun of this. The funny thing is, people theorize that he's a sentient being, and like, he owns a company. He clearly has a history in this world. He has been around for a while. The timeline would be crazy because Gabriel would have had to make him for it to make sense, but then it wouldn't make sense. I don't know why I said that like it would stop the show. Look at the episode I'm talking about. They made Mr. Banana a news anchor investigating political corruption. Considering how much Chloe is a senti-theorizing I've seen, if it turns out that this theory is true, I will just see it as yet another sibling being created to take away another interesting thing they could do with Chloe. I'm still waiting to see if they really do retroactively give Zoe her redemption arc. Speaking of the idea Noe's a senti-monster, Thomas Astroke hopped straight on Twitter to shoot that one down. It was wild. Why would you do that? Like, yeah, I don't think the theory is correct, but this is such an odd response to a dumb theory. Imagine if he did this for every other dumb theory that was on Twitter, we'd never be able to have fun there. Honestly, the only thing that makes me think it might be possible that he's a sentient being is that Audrey seems to actually like him, so I assume she just has complete control over his mind. Okay, so like, let's actually look at the plot. It's full of intrigue and conspiracy as the Illuminati, that I'm sure has a name that I just refuse to remember, try to maintain some nebulous hold on the world. We begin with a video about how Mayor Bustier is great. Considering I have yet to see one of her policies not immediately nearly result in complete disaster, I'm not convinced. This is just propaganda. And then we cut to the Illuminati watching the video. Not in person, of course. It's some sort of conference call where the video is playing in front of the anonymous blank screens, and then they say it has several billion views, and I just lost it. I just can't read these people. If the mother of all disappointments here is a part of their group, while she wouldn't completely destroy my ability to take them seriously, it's still a massive stretch. And their solution to losing control and things being bad for business is that they want to make a movie framing Ladybug and Chat as murderers who were working with Hawkmoth. This is such a dog shit idea that the fact anyone takes it seriously fries me. Let them burn their money and earn all the ridicule. Why are the characters taking this idea so seriously? Though in the show's defense, it's only like 10% more stupid than the things I've seen actual people do in their propaganda. And yeah, sometimes that works, but you have to remember that their propaganda isn't about literal superheroes being bad guys, because Paris fucking loves these guys. If someone can watch a movie with zero proof where they are portrayed as bad guys working with Hawkmoth and then walk away saying, yes, I believe that, then they are either completely stupid or were desperately looking for a reason to dislike the heroes in the first place. The people of Paris in the show are pretty stupid. Naja getting fired is the only reason I'm not calling these idiots completely pathetic for taking this so seriously, though her starting a social media podcast in retaliation makes me laugh. I'm probably just revealing how much I'm not in the target audience when I say this, but the idea that a guy in a banana suit talking about some vague idea that there was electoral malpractice while there is fruit spinning on screen gave Mylène a panic attack just made me laugh. Also, Chrysalis's acclimatization just seems like it would be so easy to break out of if you really don't want to, or if the script really doesn't want you to. Remember, Hawkmoth almost got Marinette. I genuinely cannot imagine Lila getting this far in the same situation. We also get more info on Mylène's family, and it stirred up some drama. The dialogue heavily implies that Mylène's mom is dead, which somehow makes derision worse. I didn't think it was possible, but they did it. Because that episode specifically uses the fact that Mylène's mom quote unquote left to say that's not an excuse for Chloe. Which already, combined with Zoe's existence and Chloe's degradation as a character, felt like it was feeding into the perfect victim narrative about the kind of abuse victims that deserve your sympathy. But her being dead makes it worse because then it's just not comparable at all. Audrey is alive, neglectful, and setting a horrible example for Chloe. You talk about your mom like she's a good person. I'm sorry for your loss, but why the hell would you compare your situations? Even if Mylene's mom is alive, she still talks about her like she isn't a bad person, which also shoots the legs out from under this comparison. It's just not as bad as if she was just dead. Funny enough, Ivan's dad would make far more sense for a comparison. Too bad he didn't exist until this season. And they don't realize it yet, but Jagged Stone also makes more sense for a comparison. Now Mylène just kinda looks crazy and insensitive for comparing her situation with her dead mom to Audrey in a way that can only be excused by the idea that she knew nothing about the woman at the time. Hell, when you think about the fact that they revealed her dad used to work a lot and not spend enough time with her and her mom, Mylène's situation looks less like Chloe's and more like Adrien's. Manon was in this episode, and I thought she was great. No, really, I've seen some say she was annoying, but I'd be annoyed with Marinette constantly checking her phone for messages from Adrien too. I thought she was perfectly adequate in this episode for her role of being a child. Their faces when she asked who saved Paris, they both don't want to answer for different reasons. We get the return of Mylène's dad and his manager. His manager is acting differently from how I remember her, but she does strike me as a more lore-accurate denizen of Hollywood. Wait, they're in France. So, the point of the episode is the Illuminati trying to regain control because Mayor Bustier making people happy is bad for business, or something like that. On one hand, I get that it's simplified for children. On the other, this is such a weird topic to see this simplified. And because it's so simplified, the reaction seems so odd. I thought the episode would just be about Mylene's dad trying to get out of his contract, or facing consequences for breaking it and telling everyone who would listen about it. Anyway, he gets turned into the mime because of how hopeless his daughter is about the situation. I genuinely thought Mylène was stronger than this. Didn't she stand up to the mayor when he wanted to use rockets to launch garbage into space or something? I hope you understand after I said that sentence how odd I feel for both how seriously and unseriously I want to take this conflict because it's coming from this show. Anyway, the mime is back. He's like one of the most iconic villains in this show. When clips of the movie version went viral on Twitter, people were like, I didn't know Miraculous villains had this in them. And it's like, there are 100 of them. Even if completely by accident, a few of them would have to be cool, just by pure statistics. So the mime is chasing after Noe. The heroes chase him down and capture him, but because he's one of the, 3 villains the show has had who were smart enough to hide their akumatized objects, they need to make him renounce his akuma. So they also capture Noe and bring him to a studio so they can record them. Why? No, seriously, why are they recording this? They did this in Silencer to reveal that Bob Roth is a thief, but here it's like they just want the guy to announce that Ladybug and Chat aren't villains, even though he has never announced that he thinks they are villains, though he does say here that he does think that. And it seems oddly irrelevant to actually defeating the mime. And it's completely irrelevant because they immediately switch to a different tactic and have Mylène talk him out of being a villain by appealing to his humanity. And honestly, I was disappointed. Now, I have expressed interest in the idea of them talking a villain down if they can't reach his Akuma. But this episode is the one that brought in the idea that they would use the new human villain they were introducing to do so. And then they just didn't do it. Why would you show me this if I can't have it? Now I'm just disappointed seeing something that I've previously said I wanted to see. Also, I'm gonna be real, I did feel a bit underwhelmed, but like I said, I think I just don't care about the conflict enough to really get into it with Mylène. I thought having Noe be instrumental in taking the mime down would be so interesting, but they just gave up on the idea so fast because the guy can't talk, and it's like, hey Noe, you can talk to him. I'm really glad Marinette didn't buy his bullshit change of heart. It was somehow even more bullshit than Adrien's grandfather. I guess I didn't like this episode. I can't get into the main conflict, and the conflict resolution felt like a cop-out that made me wonder if having a simple purify the Akuma conflict would have been better. Making these videos really makes it a lot easier for me to articulate what I do and don't like in these episodes. Shout out to my patrons and channel members, Skyman, Technopark, and Jarg Evolved. What are your thoughts? Tell me in the comments below, and while you're at it, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more content. Thank you, and good day.